Thank you, Nadia. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. When I started doing this work, I had the feeling that I was starting to swim against the tide. Now, on 40 years later, I have been joined by a host of other people and organizations splashing and spluttering their way, fighting the tide. And this has led me to the conclusion we are functioning within a plane of reality that is unreal. In order to really grasp where we are and what we need to do, I feel that we need to up our level of consciousness to another plateau. Why I say this is because we're existentially trapped in a linear process, whereas the reality of existence is cyclical. That is the way creation is. It is cyclical. The sun and the moon and the orbits, where the planets orbit around the sun, the seasons, the days and the nights, it's cyclical. But the process we are engaged in, the civilizational construct that we are engaged in, is linear. It's linear, it's about growth, 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 and growth. Nobody wants to do any difference. If politicians begin to talk the language of degrowth, they will lose power, because this is what the population wants. Can I ask the audience here to tell me how many of you, if push comes to shove, would accept austerity as one of the reasons for getting back to an optimum level of functioning? Can you tell me? Would you accept austerity as a measure? Please put your hands up if you do. There we are. About 1% of the audience. See what I mean? It's our responsibility. So, ignoring this existential reality has brought us to the edge of disaster. The primary reality of connectedness reminds us there is not a thing we can do without ultimately impacting on the environment, even this gathering. The established major traditions survive today mainly in their private ritualized forms, and traditional societies and indigenous cultures have been sucked into the global economic vortex. Now I'd like to read you a cautionary tale from the page in the book that I've written. Yes, please do. One of the things that we have done as part of the work of the foundation is to put together a teaching resource based on the Quran, working in various parts of the world. And one of our visits post-tsunami in Indonesia was to go to a small town in South Sumatra. And there my colleagues, for recreational reasons, having a break, we walked into the local rainforest reservation. One of the reasons was to taste the durian fruit. Who knows about durian? It's a fruit with a, politely put, a pungent smell. So as we were spilling our way into this forest, we were accosted by a young man who had the right implements to cut this fruit open, and he courteously asked us to come to his hut, and we started talking. And here's the conversation. We'll call this young man Ali. Are my Indonesian colleagues here? No, they're at another place. Okay. Right. Here it is. Now, Ali was this young man who was cutting this fruit open. I was with a team of academics, and one of them was a professor from Medan University in Sumatra, and he translated this conversation for me. Ali, I asked him what he was doing, and he said to me, I'm going to the university in Medan. This surprised all of us. A young man cutting this fruit open in the middle of a rainforest. Me, what will you be studying? Forestry, he said. Me, but you grew up in the forest and knew all about it. Ali, I went to the local school in Panjabugan. I need to know more about the forest. Me, but your father protected the forest and he had no university degree, and so did his father and so on. Couldn't you learn from the old ways and the old wisdom? Ali, I can, but I need to have more scientific knowledge, and that is also illegal logging. Me, but you can't stop illegal logging with science or a university degree. Illegal logging is about greed and irresponsibility. Will the university teach you how to deal with this? Ali, no, but as a graduate, I will have more authority and I will encourage the development of this area. If people are better off, they will not need to work for illegal loggers. Me, but your father and the village elders had authority and there was no illegal logging in this area. But won't development make more demands on the forest? Ali, yes, but past generations were poor. I want a better standard of life for me and my family when I have one and consider and contribute to the development of my country. Me, that's not a bad thing. But if you live in Medan, where all the jobs are, you will live far from the forest, which you want to save, and to visit this area, it will mean a 40-minute flight plus a 3-hour journey by car, or alternatively, a 12-hour journey by road, which will mean that you will be contributing to climate change with a very heavy carbon footprint. Ali, I will work locally and live in Panjabugan, which is the local township. Me, but this village may have already reached the extent of its development. It is crowded and its population already encroaching on the forest and contributing to its degradation. Where will you live? Ali, I'll get my own house built. But the wood for this will come from me. But the wood for this will come from the forest your father had managed to save, and it may come from illegal logging. Now, I got a kind of a whispered answer to this, and I left it at that. You see, so that is, we really have to make the connection. So what I got from that was that we are really in a feedback loop, and the feedback. A negative feedback loop, which means, which consists of three parameters, which is education, consumerism, and growth. And if you were to listen to the Emeritus Professor David Orr from Fazlun Khalid, Ohio, he will tell that the greatest polluters in the world are the people with MAs, BAs, PhDs, and LLBs and all the professionals, by virtue of the fact that they have the spending power and therefore they are consumers. And then consumerism is encouraged by growth, and consumerism means that you, it's related to creating discontent. There's a huge advertising industry. They're set to create discontent so that you will want today what didn't exist yesterday. Excuse me while I retrieve this. And here's the thing. We talk with alarm today about the sixth mass extinction and loss of biodiversity. But we need to remind ourselves that there has been a massive loss of cultural diversity. The very same cultural diversity that protects the planet. We have lost this cultural diversity only in the past 500 years, since the voyages of Columbus and Vasco da Gama. Okay. This is all the time it took to turn the world upside down, not forgetting that our species thrived and grew in a benign climate in the previous 10,000 years. Faith communities, having lost the power we once wielded, are now just one player amongst many with fierce competing interests. But our strength lies in our networks we have been building over the centuries. We also need to reflect on the fact that in spite of our varying worldviews, faith communities have, after all, been chasing the same thing: prosperity. We all go shopping. Shopping is now a global pastime, and we thus share some of the culpability. In recent years, we have been finding common ground, and there has been a coming together as we increasingly realize that the earth is a shared space. There is wide scope for recovering our balance with nature if we only grasp this opportunity. As the Quran asserts, He, Allah, set up the balance so that you may not exceed the balance. Weigh with justice and do not fall short in the balance. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fazlun, and I've been privileged to read through your book. I can tell you it's a book of books. It's history, it's geography, it's theology, it's environmentalism, it's a number of things. So congratulations and thank you.